Hi everyone, Manmeet Chowdhry from Optimum Performance Solutions here, and as promised, here is video number 2 of my birthday month, sharing a little bit of my private self with you so that you might be able to gain some insights for whatever you may have gone through or are going through. And as we have been talking about Valentine's this week, I thought I would follow the theme through and still carry on talking about the nothing is missing, the universal law of one and many, a little bit more. But in relation to this week, a few things that I've been through, which the law of one and many and the law of transformation is applicable to any kind of perceived loss you have, and that could be loss of a relationship, either by choice or being dumped, or divorce, loss of a loved one, loss of business, loss of money, and any perceived loss. Let me just tell you now, there are 2 fears we have in life, and that is very much to do with one being the fear of losing the very thing we infatuate with and we want to gain. Why? Because on an animal level we are seeking prey and we don't want to lose that very thing that we infatuate with. We want the food, we want the very thing that we like. And the other form of loss is a form of fear is gaining that very thing that we resent and we put down in the pit because we don't want that thing to come into our life. It's the predator. So you tend to oscillate between these 2 forms of fear, but actually when you bring them the predator out of the pit and the prey off the pedestal, you tend to see the transformation happening and don't fear the gain of what you resent and the loss of what you infatuate with. Now, when I talked about this through Valentine's, I said to you that when you take a look at the very things you're missing and that you perceive you're missing is always present. It's just in a different form. Well, beyond that, once you recognize what form it is, because the very form that you had it in is on a pedestal and you think that nothing can match that, you want to ask that once you found the form it's in, what are the benefits of the current form it's in? Because that current form is down in the pit and the old form is up on a pedestal. So you want to basically take that current form out of the pit by asking what's the benefits, and the one that's on the pedestal in the previous form, you want to bring it off the pedestal and ask what are the drawbacks, because that will help you neutralize any type of good or bad or loss or gain kind of labels you have on those things. Now, when I was going through a few things in my life, one being a loss of a loved one, which was my auntie, and one being a loss of a relationship. I had chosen to end the relationship through choice. However, there were still parts of my ex-partner that I was like, if I only wish if I could have that same connection, or if I could have, the social nights out, etc. And all I did was this process. This is known as the grief process by Dr. John Demartini, my mentor, as you know. And I believe that it's one of the most powerful methodologies to help people see the transformation happening in their lives as opposed to being attached to the form it's in. Because ladies and gentlemen, the form that you have it in, whatever you perceive you're missing, is most aligned with your priorities. So I'll give you an example. One of the things I did miss quite a bit of my ex-partner was being able to go to the cinema with him. I used to watch a lot of films back in the day, and he was a great laugh to go with, and they were kind of Bollywood films. And shortly after that relationship ended, my mum shows up and says, I want to come, and and when I say show up, she started to take on that trait a lot more. Unfortunately, my dad didn't want to go. He would rather sit at home and watch Liverpool, which I was in full support of. So my mum and I started going on date nights, and we started to do that a lot more, and we connected. The benefit of having it in her form is that we reconnected. She felt valued. I had the chance to treat her and really bring the bond to our relationship. The benefit of that was that she was a lot more interested in the work I was doing. She started asking questions. I helped her through a few things, and that was very much aligned to my highest priorities. When I look at the drawback of going to the cinema with my ex-partner, I think of, we didn't really live locally, so a lot of time traveling. I had to kind of book things in advance, and there was also there was other things that came with that, like being away from family and having to deal with or lying to the family where I was going, and all this kind of stuff was there. So I was under no illusion that there were drawbacks in the old form. Oh, and one of the things was, if I didn't want to watch a film and it was the one I didn't want to go to, we had to go sometimes. So, you know, when we get really true and we see what are the drawbacks of that old form, we break our infatuation with having it in that form. And, you know, going with my mum has both benefits and drawbacks too. So it's just a matter of seeing things as they are, being in the perfect form they are, that serve you the most. With my aunt's death, when I started to see the things that I would miss and how those started getting taken on by various family members, I'll give you one example. One of the things she used to do was very much nurture us when we went around hospital. So she would ask, what do you want to eat? What do you want to drink? I remember the day she was on her deathbed, the moment I started to think, I wonder who's going to take that trait on. My 5-6-year-old niece walks in and says, Mummy, I think we should make tea for everybody. Now, ladies and gents, the perfection and the awe of the universe is always there in front of you. It just takes a few quality questions to ask and, you know, get really real with that. And it takes off you living as a victim and living like the masses, because the masses live in a world of gain and loss. The masters live in a world of transformation. If you're able to see the transformation that's happening forever, you will just see this universe is remodeling, it is recycling. You're never going to be missing anything. So when it comes to any kind of, you know, loss of any form, like I said, money, loved one, relationship, business, or anything like that, when you ask what form is it in now, it can be in the form of one or many, male or female, close or distant, and sometimes you start to do things a lot more. I know that there were parts of my relationship I was missing that I actually started to do a lot more of when I left that relationship. I took on a lot of the traits as well. And then you ask, what are the benefits of the new form I currently have it in, and what are the drawbacks of the form that I did have it in? These are the quality questions that you can ask to help deal with any type of loss, and you will just see that you're always transforming from one to many. I know that I'm surrounded by, you know, my soulmate, as I would call that, every day, because every trait that I'm looking for in a man is surrounding me, and it's in the form. I have intelligent men around me, and it's in the form that I need the most, because I am learning from them. They're helping me on my business. They are having great banter with me to help me grow myself, and you know, I have those kind of things. Is like I said, just having it in the form that I need it in the most. Now, I hope that's been of some sort of value to you, and I'm not also talking, just the last thing, I'm not talking about looking at where you perceive you may have lost it. Look for now. Look at the thing when you're actually traveling around, or you know, I travel quite a bit, and when I sometimes, you know, miss my dad, I'll look out, or my mom, I'll go look at, well, who's doing the things that, you know, I miss perceiving them, because, you know, I'm thankful that they're here, but you know, they're going to decide how long they want to be here. So for example, you know, if I'm missing something in my dad, a cool one was when I was in Houston, and there was a man there who was the shuttle driver, and I called him Abba because he really was like my dad. He would pick me up and drop me to all my conference. Like when I stay in that hotel, he knows when I'm coming, and he's there, to the point he would get annoyed if I didn't let him know that I was done. And no walking, you know, just like my dad, no, don't walk the streets, I'll come and pick you up. So ladies and gents, it's just there, and it's just such a powerful thing to understand when you can never be missing anything. And the visual I want to leave you with, the science behind this law of transformation, is just take water for example, and water, when you freeze it, it becomes ice, and when you boil it, it becomes condensation or steam, but it's still the same water. Go look for your water and see that it's only ever transforming. It's never ever missing. I hope that's been of value to you. I will be back with you next week with week 3. I'm going to try and think of what I can bring you out of my private life to make it public, so that in the hope that it can help you or anybody else that you may feel that can find this video of value. Thank you so much.